Hello and welcome back to the Paddle and Fin podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Jay.
We're your hosts, and we're back tonight, guys, to chat with you about some of our stuff going on. No guests tonight. Figured we play catch up with you guys. We've had a ton of guests on the show lately, and yeah, it'll be nice to just chat, me and you. It's been a while.
Hey, Brian.
So, yeah, man. So you just got a pretty sweet setup for your fishing season for your trailer. Little tent add-on. It's been blowing up on social media, man. You're like a hot character out there because of this setup.
Yep, it's all for the fans. That's why I do this stuff. That's right.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us what it is, what you got, how the setup went?
Well, Brian, I picked up a Smitty built Overlander extra large XL. It's a 2883 tent. It's a rooftop tent. It's pretty large. It you can get three adults in there, but it's definitely going to be two comfortably. It's almost a queen size bed. But yeah, I went ahead and got one of those and threw it on top of my trailer.
It's pretty slick, man. I know you posted pics of it to Facebook and Instagram, and everybody was like, "What is that? I need that in my life." Like, yeah. I'm sick of sleeping in the back seat of my car, or truck, or whatever. So, yeah, no, it's slick, man, and it looks like it's huge. Like it's got a ton of room.
Yeah, yeah. So it has what is that thing called in the front? It's got like an overhang in front of the
front window.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting the name of a vestibule thing.
Oh yeah. I think so.
So there's the Overlander and the Overlander XL. I got that one because the XL because it has that vestibule that hangs over the front. I liked the idea because now you can you don't have to worry about the rain getting in and everything, so you can leave that front open if you want more ventilation in the summer and everything. The cool thing about that tent too is that if it's higher up, you can put that annex on there, but I have no intention of doing that. The tent's way too low. It won't be able to. I could put it on there, but it would just be bunched up at the bottom and everything. It's just I don't know. I have no intention of getting it, so whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, I'd looked at. Well, let me just back up. I had anytime you go to these tournaments, if you don't have any if you don't want to pitch a tent, you're pretty much staying in a hotel and. That's like $75 to $100 depending on where you're staying. You can stay at a $50 or $60 hotel, but
I call those the no-tell motel.
Yeah, that's beware.
Yeah.
I always do a fast look over, look on the floor, and but sometimes they're a little scary. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're mom and pops places are pretty cool, but
sure.
More times than not, there's some unsavory people staying in there. So, but yeah, I mean, really, what it came down to was money, and I looked at so many options. I looked at the cot tent. The cot tent is, essentially a cot with a tent that's connected to it over the top, so it would fold up just like a cot would. Since I have a truck, that would be fine. It would fit. I was almost going to go that route. And I was looking at the rooftop tents, and I just like that idea better. But I have a very interesting trailer, so I've got like a 5-foot span between the tiers. So I kind of had to go with the XL.
Sure.
To make it fit, because I don't think that the other one would, the original Overlander. But I needed something over 5 foot, and this happened to be it, and was in my price range, because rooftop tents are not cheap.
Yeah, I know you did a ton of research on them when you were talking about getting one.
Yeah, it was like a year, man. It was over a year. I've been looking at them, weighing options, because ever since you did your build out on your cargo trailer,
yeah,
I was like, was like, man, I got to get something because I know we're not going to be fishing together 100% of the time during tournament season.
Sure.
And I didn't want to be like throwing down the tent because I've done that and I've been like poured on
Yeah.
and had to do a takedown during the pour, you know.
Yep. Been there,
And
done that.
that's so awesome. It's the greatest time ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's like, so yeah, I threw it up on my trailer and yeah, I'm digging it. Like I still have some more stuff to do. I gotta throw the stabilizer jacks on there still. I only have two. I might do four.
Nice.
It all depends on how it handles all the weight. Oh, and the other reason too, I got that particular tent is because it folds out. So my trailer's pretty thin, and I mean it's perfect for kayaks and everything. But I didn't want like one of those clamshells that sits like right on top, because then it would be kind of tipsy. I thought so. I wanted something that kind of maximized my weight proportion, like
Sure.
of the tent. So I got some weight hanging over the side of it. So I essentially the trailer becomes like the back end of the stability factor. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I still got a few things to go through, but I mean I'm really digging it. And like to your point, yeah, it kind of took off on Instagram and on Facebook, especially on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was really surprised. Like I got more likes on a tent than I have on anything I've ever put up.
Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
So I think I've learned what the content needs to be on
Yeah.
my page now.
Right. Well, you and I had a pretty interesting conversation. I think it was like last night on the phone or something about security for that.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's something that a lot of people are going to overlook. And I know you're talking about doing a video on it, but you know, it's something I wouldn't have thought about. And I know you brought it up to me. Um, you know, you're getting these security nuts to bolt that thing down so somebody can't just essentially walk up and unbolt it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're called T-groove nuts. There's a couple different versions, not really of the T-groove, but something to that avail. But the T-grooves are very expensive, very just for nuts. But they're stainless steel made in America, and the fact that they're hard to get a hold of is great because it means it'll be real difficult for somebody to get their hands on the actual socket, which you have to buy too.
Sure.
Because these are totally 100% anti-theft um, type nuts. But yeah, I don't know. I just, you know how it is. It's like I'm going to be leaving that trailer, and the tent's just going to be sitting there. And if you got a socket wrench right now, you could just take it right off.
Sure.
Nobody would be none the wiser. I mean, all you got to really do is just bust out four of them, and you can just take off. And there goes $1,000.
Right.
But yeah, so this yeah, I mean, I don't know why I live outside Chicago. It's like you're not far from me, but over
Yeah.
here it's still sketchy, and
Sure. It,
stuff can get snaked all the time.
well, it's sketchy wherever you go.
Yeah.
I don't think I brought this up on here, but I know one of the guys from the KBL was down at that Hobie Bass Open on Chickamauga, and I think it was Thursday night or Friday night, right before the tournament. Dude was staying at a hotel, comes out, somebody stole his trailer with his brand new Hobie kayak on it and took off through a field onto a side road, and then bam, gone. He couldn't
Yeah.
even fish the tournament. So it's just like, that security stuff. I think that's something that we don't think about and we might take for granted sometimes, but I thought, you doing those extra steps, that's clutch, that's key, man. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, I just know how easy it would be. Now, what was like when we talked about that guy? What was the first thing I said to you?
yeah, was his trailer locked up to his hitch?
Yes.
I don't know
Like,
that. I don't know that answer. I know me and you have talked about that before. Like mine's always whether it's like my bed extender or my trailer. Like not only my hitch is locked, but the actual lever that flops down to secure around the ball. I have a pin lock through that too. So
Oh yeah. I mean, it's like so, and you've seen my stuff. So, and you know how serious I take this. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had stuff ganked. Um, and so, and I urge everybody to pay attention to this right now. So there's these locks that are out there. The company's called Bolt.
Yep.
It's a red and black. Their colors are red and black on the Bolt. What it does is it actually learns your vehicle key. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I used to have other locks for all my stuff. And one day I left my keys on the back bumper, something like that. Um, I got home and it was cold out and everything. I quickly found that I couldn't undo my trailer. And I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
So I literally had to break all the locks off like at almost 10 o'clock at night so I could put
Just
this
to
thing
get
away.
unhooked.
Yeah, I mean, so what I did is after that lovely experience, I did some research and I was like, okay, well, keys suck. Uh, you get a bunch of different locks, you get a bunch of different keys, you're screwed.
Sure.
You lose them, and chances are you probably didn't stash the extra one somewhere safe. You probably kept it on the same key ring. You know who you are out there because I'm still one of them. And so I thought it'd be easier. I was like, well, let me just look at if there's newer technologies, whatever is out there. And I saw one that learns your vehicle key. So
That makes sense. You could keep everything
Yeah.
under lock and key with one key.
Yeah, it's way easier. So now at this point, I have my hitch locked. I've got the ball lock. That one's got another lock on it. My rod tubes have padlocks on them on the conduit latches. I've even got a bike, like kind of like a bike chain type lock for this as well. I even what was the other thing I have? Let's just say I pretty
Your
much got it all
straps.
outfitted.
Your straps too. What's the
Oh,
name of
yeah,
those straps? Because you strap your boat down and they got a lock on them.
Yeah,
And I
canoe
remember,
locks.
I remember the first time we fished together. I was like, "What are these? Like,
Yeah.
I need a pair of these. Like, these are pretty slick."
Yeah, those canoe locks are awesome. They have like a steel wire or cable running through them. They got like two of them, and they're lockable. So, I mean, if somebody wants them, get through them, but it's gonna take some work. They
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
slash them. You
Yeah.
can't slash them with the blade.
Yeah.
You
No,
know,
that's
but
huge, man. That's huge.
yeah, it's like I'm a big proponent of that safety, or not safety, but the security aspect. And I mean, I don't know. It just sucks. I mean, nobody wants to come out and see that their stuff got ganked. Um, and I know most of us, like even when you're staying in a hotel, if you're like me, you can still see your kayak wherever you're staying.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, I know, even when I go fishing with my good friend Scotty Purrs, and we're not, camping and the boat's not right there next to the trailer or whatever, we're staying in a hotel. He backs that thing up right by the window, keeps an eye on it, locks on all the rod lockers, everything like that. So, yeah, it's huge, man. You guys that are fishing tournaments and stuff out there, just take into consideration some of those facts that Jay just pumped at you. Some of those safety aspects you might want to pick up just to keep your stuff safe, so you don't end up like the one gent down at the Hobie Bass Open.
Yeah.
I mean,
Definitely. Just take the time.
I don't even know what I would do if I walked out and just saw all my stuff gone.
Yeah. I mean,
would
it's
probably flip. I'm trying to keep this PG, so yeah. Uh-huh.
It would be a bad day for everyone.
Yeah. Pretty much. Stay out of Brian's way.
I'd be looking for like, is that a green kayak?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's sad that it comes to that, but at the same time, it's like you just can't overlook it, because when you do, you'll end up the loser. And even if you insure your stuff,
Yeah.
don't take that laissez-faire like, well, it's insured. It's like, well, you
Sure.
just ruined your trip.
Yeah. drove all the way to wherever for nothing. And not only that, like sometimes like your insurance, like if you had like tackle bins of bait in there, like it's not going to cover all the hundreds of dollars worth of bait. And I think, or tackle, so to speak. And I think that dude that got his boat ganked, I think all his terminal tackle was in his boat. I mean, just think about that. Like, you got 10 different size hooks, 5 different size weights, another style of hook, another style of weight, all that stuff, man, that adds up real quick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you're talking it could have been 5 bills worth of terminal, so ain't worth it, man. Ain't worth it, because you never know what you're going to get back from the insurance company, things like that, so yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue probably to tackle too, because when you get into that, you get into insurance, because everybody should be insuring their stuff. You got to keep up with what you have for the insurance companies. That includes listing everything.
Yeah, having receipts, all that good stuff.
Yeah, taking pictures of your stuff so that way they know what it looks like. Matter of fact, to even insure it, you probably have to do that anyway.
Right.
But yeah,
fun stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year, that's for sure.
Yeah, buddy. So you've been working on something else too recently, and I think you might have mentioned this on the first time you were on the podcast. Fish Mob Lures.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Yeah.
What's it about?
Well, I started Fish Mob before, and I was kind of scattered everywhere: spinner baits, buzz baits, jigs, a couple other things. I was painting some jerk bait, type top water, suspended baits, hollow body stuff, rattles, all the good stuff. I kind of became the product, so I kind of concentrated on me and stuff. And then after a while, I was kind of thinking, well, me and you had talked about it too.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to do a reboot, but I wanted to keep it simple.
Sure.
And I wanted to run something that I know a lot of people, a lot of people use lure wise, and something that's super effective for, pretty much any fish that'll hit top water.
Sure.
So it ends up being those buzz baits that you like so much.
I love them.
But yeah, I have. Are you gonna get one out?
Oh yeah.
show the nice people at home.
I got like 2 bins of buzz baits, so.
Yeah, you have a lot of buzz baits, and a lot of them are mine.
Yeah.
But yes,
that's probably one of my favorites right there. Black and blue.
Yeah, that's a cool. I'll have that scheme definitely going on.
But what I think is unique about these, and I may have only seen this once, is like you got the double blade going on. So you got the quad blade in the center of a big double blade.
Mm-hmm.
And that's super slick. And I love these because you can reel them at like multiple speeds and get different sounds and churns out of the water.
Yeah.
I know me and you had a conversation once too, where you were telling me you were like, bend that arm a little bit, like on the double bladed ones, get some more clacking out of it, a harder thump. And yeah, man, I love them. I caught a lot of fish off those this past summer.
Yeah, they work really
well,
man.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're fun. I mean, I got one of the newer ones I just made.
Yeah.
This is I'm calling it Black Shad.
Yeah, that one's sold.
Yeah. How do you know I didn't make this for myself? But
yeah, it's sold.
I know, it's like I need to. I'm glad I made more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's like you've got these 2 blades and they turn opposite of each other, so you get a straight line on your retrieve. The other great thing about these heads is that they're really thin.
Sure.
And they plane really well, and it sits below the water below the surface. So when you're bringing it in, you can move that rod tip and you can swim it around stuff. And And this is a 3/8 I have in my hand right now, and these you can run really slow.
Yeah.
That's what I like about the 3/8 because I pretty much I'm only gonna be carrying like 3/8 and a half ounce. Um, but and then like you were saying with this, if you bend this arm down,
Yeah.
you can get it. If you get it to just hit it, like
Yeah.
you tune it to just hit it, you'll get a clack out of that thing
Yeah.
that'll bring in fish.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I played around with it a little bit last summer, and I definitely saw an increase in bites. But like on a hot summer evening, you could just slowly churn that thing across the top of the water, man. And I can't even begin to tell you how many 16 plus inch fish I've caught on that, and not only bass but northern pike too.
Oh yeah, those
those pike just destroy those things.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's cool, man. So like if somebody was interested in them, where could they find out about Fishy Mob lures?
Well, right now, you can either PM me through on Facebook through Jay Randall, or you can go to Fish Mob Lures on Facebook and PM me there. I don't have a website right now, so we'll just do kind of PayPal stuff. And then I'll give you the pricing and whatnot. I'm gonna have some static designs, probably like 4 or 5 that I'll keep on hand. And then if you want to, excuse me, if you want to get into something more custom, we can talk about it, and we can go from there. I've got some options in terms of the blade coloring and just the stuff that makes it bling and makes you go ooh.
Yeah.
Well,
I know last summer I picked up a few from you all in one shot, and
yeah,
you were like, "Hey man, I got these buzz baits." I was like, "How many of those you got?"
Yeah.
Bring everything you have.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I got a large assortment, but no, I love them, man, because I think I was throwing like some Strike Kings last year too, and like those things would just get destroyed after a few fish, and like I've not had one of yours be like jacked up or messed up. So
yeah, that's another thing. The wire gauge, it was important.
Yeah.
How tough these are. They can take one hell of a beating. Not to mention they cast for like ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Even on a windy day, they'll cut right through the wind.
Yeah, they got a nice balanced weight to them for sure, and you can cast them a mile. So that brings me to we had a listener email us and wanted to touch on this tonight. It was from Jeff Gruce, which I believe we both met at the Chicago Fishing Show. Mm. But his question was rod types when kayaking, being on moving river or both. I'm always looking at new gear, but before diving into those purchases, I thought maybe you could touch base on the subject. Do we throw our classic rod and reel setup rules aside when fishing from a kayak? Would that somewhat give you or get you being light on the water? He likes to throw crankbaits, a few other hard baits on a medium fast action rod. Jigs and heavier baits like chatterbait, swim jigs. He uses a medium heavy fast action. Our kayak fishermen using heavier, stiffer rods these days with more backbone. Will this give you a better setting of the hook yourself and while in the boat moving? I think he's talking about rivers on there. Mm-hmm. And then he's talking about kayak specific rods. So like when you're throwing the buzz, what style rod are you using?
I'm definitely gonna be throwing on a medium heavy.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Just because of the gauge of the hook.
Yeah.
Like I think that's really what should drive this whole conversation anyway.
Sure.
Because I'm pike, you're bass. I mean, you're bass and pike, but I'm definitely like pro pike.
I fish for anything that bites.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, definitely like a medium heavy 7 foot. Um, I would even go with a 7.6 if I could.
Sure.
I've actually thrown this on my heavy rod too.
Yeah.
I think you get a better whip out of a medium heavy.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
Um, and I'll usually throw these on braid. Well, for me, like again, pike, these I'll tie straight too because I can't use a leader. I mean, I could use a tie leader or something, but
Sure.
these don't have a hole,
Yeah.
to keep the thing secured. So I'll tie to just like probably 30-pound braid.
Yeah. I was gonna say I usually throw like 30-pound braid on a medium heavy fast action tip. And not only that too, but like especially on a top water bite, I mean, my preference at least is that medium heavy, just because there's a little bit of a delay on that hook set, even though you're pulling that rod back. It's not. I think if you got too heavy a rod, sometimes it's going to pull that hook right out of the fish's mouth. Right? It's not going
Sure.
to give him time to bite it. So that's my take on that. I mean, what are your thoughts as far as like in a moving river? I know you fish rivers most of the time. Do you like go to a specific rod just because you're in the river, or you just kind of stick to your same, whether it be river or lake?
Yeah, I don't have a preference, river or lake. It's the bait.
Sure,
So, when I'm throwing like 1 ounce, like lures,
sure,
I'm using a heavy.
yeah,
Even if I'm throwing a rattle trap, even a 1 ounce rattle trap, I'll do that. To the chatterbait question, usually, I mean, I've thrown it on a heavy, I've thrown it on a medium heavy, and I've thrown them on a medium. Now you're going to hear different opinions on that because some people think you should be throwing them on mediums
right,
because you kind of need that. You need the that slow taper, to kind of load up that rod and and get that hit. But again, in my opinion, I think it's more the gauge of the hook driving it. So if I have anything that's in the like the 4-aught, 5-aught range, definitely a medium heavy, even possibly a heavy, just
sure,
depending on what it is and how much weight's on it.
sure,
A 3/8 though, I'd probably, smaller gauge usually are on those, like a 3-aught usually.
yeah,
I'll probably go a medium, on a chatterbait. But again, I'm more pike, so
yeah,
I'm usually in the heavy range. But
sure,
it's medium heavy to heavy for me all the time.
yeah. I
You know,
mean, I think if you were gonna have one rod in your boat, I'd probably go with a medium heavy.
I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah, me
I,
too. I
I
agree.
mean, you could do so much with it. Yeah, you're not going to
Yep.
get as much sensitivity out of it. I don't think if you were like drop shotting or
Hmm.
finesse jigging or something like that. But um, yeah, I think if I had to choose like one rod, my boat would be a medium heavy fast taper. I think that's a good all around rod for today's baits. But yeah, I don't know. Jeff sent in that question, so I figured we'd touch on that a little bit. I think it's more like rod stiffness, tip
Hmm.
action is more specific, like you said, to weight, hook size, technique, things like
Yep.
that, So I think you got to kind of break it down, like, I want to focus on this technique, that technique, and this other one, and what's going to help me achieve that.
Oh yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's cool, man. I dig it. Thanks to Jeff. Shout out to Jeff. Congrats on your new Bonafide RS 11.7, baby. Boom!
Thanks, Jeff.
These things have been flying out of the shop, man. But, yeah, no, I thought it was a great question, and I think a lot of people kind of dance around it. Um, and I think it's going to be more of a personal take overall. But
Yeah.
I like what you said. Weight, hook size. I know I don't necessarily think about that a lot. I think more about the weight than I do the hook size, but something to consider for sure.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I mean, if I could just touch on one other thing, like if you're if you're
no, you
bass
can't.
fishing,
No.
Oh, okay. I'll just
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, thanks for your permission.
I didn't know you needed permission to talk on
Yeah,
this podcast.
yeah, that's right. This is my turn. Um, no, so I mean, like, if you're bass fishing though, I think, because you're targeting bass, smallmouth, largemouth, even maybe walleye. Um, I would definitely think on the other side of things, a medium, like fast or
Yeah.
a moderate tip would be perfect because now you can use a plastic. You can finesse fish.
Sure.
You can throw a Ned rig. If I have a moderate one for drop shotting and Ned rigging,
Sure.
it's great.
Yeah.
Again, this is the hook size though, because now you're gonna let that rod load up, and your rod is gonna set that hook more or less than your hook set. The action. It's the same thing with wacky rigging. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of versatility with that medium for bass.
Sure.
And again, matching up your line weight and your the actual weight of the lure and the hook, just pay attention to that and see if you're missing fish or not.
Yeah, I know. So this year I'll have a medium light and a medium spinning rod, medium crankbait rod, a medium heavy, a heavy, and an extra heavy, all in my boat.
Yeah, it's a good range.
Yeah, so I can touch pretty much all across the board.
Yeah,
maybe an ultralight, depends. I know Jay likes to have an ultralight in his boat.
I don't even know what those are.
Yeah.
It's like it's either I'm fishing for a pike with an extra heavy, or I have an ultralight.
Yeah, and I'm throwing a MEPS.
Don't let anybody tell you it's a fairy wand.
Yeah.
You're fine. It's okay. Be secure when you're throwing one of those because they will catch you a 20.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, catching a 20 on an ultralight's like catching Moby Dick on a telephone pole, man. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, I think it's interesting. The other part of his question was like kayak specific rods. I don't know what your thoughts are on them, man. Like, I don't want to be biased here. I'm on Elysian's, pro staff or whatever, but and they just came out with their kayak rods, and I've actually been using them here in like the past week. Yeah, like week and a half. I've been sneaking down to the river, and I like them. Super smooth. I mean, it seems like all these companies that are making kayak specific rods are like, oh, we're cutting down the butt ends. And I know when Elysian had looked at doing this whole kayak series, he put a question out to the team, and he was like, what do you guys want to see in these? Do you guys want the butt ends cut down? And I'd say 95% of the guys were like, no, like a regular butt end is fine with me. I don't need it cut down. So, what is a kayak specific rod? That's still the question that's got to be answered, I think. Mm-hmm. I know what they did is like, as far as the grips, they put wind grips on because our rods get wet, like you're landing a fish, the end of your pole goes, into the lake a little bit, then you're pulling it out, you got a wet grip. Sometimes cork gets a little bit slippery. I know EVA foam gets a little slippery when it's wet. So those wind grips get a little stickier. That's why I like them. It's just because of the grips. He didn't shorten up the butt end too much on those. But that's going to be a personal preference. I would say, I love cork grips. I don't know about you, but, after throwing these wind grips the past week or two, like, I can see how they're really going to serve a purpose in the kayak, So, I mean, I don't usually have an issue with, super slippery grips. I will say that. But, I don't know. Are kayak-specific rods a gimmick?
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's too early to tell. Because I think St. Croix was the first one that came out with one, right?
I think those Mojo Bass or
Yeah.
Kayak. Not, you know what? I know there's a lot of guys out there that are huge St. Croix fans, but
Sure.
I do not like those rods
Yeah.
at all. They are, to me, the balance is so important. And
Sure.
those rods feel, they're just very front heavy.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't get that good cast that you want out of them, in my opinion. You know, I'm okay with like a regular size rod.
Sure.
I'm not that particular. I get it. You want it to be able to clear your PFD, and especially if you're a fat dude, it's like, you know, you're gonna want it to clear your belly.
You calling me fat?
Nope. I had to look and make sure it was still there. It's still there. Yeah. I was really hoping this podcast would make me lose like 10 pounds. It didn't work. It's not like on TV at all. You know, and these pills don't work either. Yeah. Don't take the pills. Yeah. I just feel really giddy. That's it. You know. No, but I mean, you know how it is. You people want that clearance. You know, and it's like, I don't know if they can figure out a way to counterbalance that.
Sure.
Then great. But I think if you lose the balance, that's going to be it's going to hurt your product.
I agree with that. I know you haven't seen my rods yet, but you'll see them next weekend, which will be the next segue. But
did you just say you're going to show me your rods?
You dirty man.
I know. That's about as dirty as it gets.
Yeah. Starting to question you, but you know, to your point, I think the balance of the rod is key. I have a St. Croix Bass X rod. I believe it's a medium heavy, like 7 foot. It's all right. I mean, I fished it a ton last year. I didn't fish it. You know, it's more of a heavier rod than a medium heavy, but I don't know. I like custom built rods. You know, I used to build rods back in the day. I like custom built rods just because you get a few extra eye guides in there that are going to give you a longer cast, more sensitivity in the rod, more balanced. Whereas I think some manufacturers kind of chintz out on an eye guide or two, and then that kind of, you know, decreases those things. So that's just my take on it. So
I agree.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how that all unfolds in the kayak world, especially this year. I think you're going to see a lot of it popping up. You know, I think St. Croix kind of took the first initiative step, and some other people are following along in their footsteps. And to my point with the wind grips, St. Croix's got a grip similar to that on their Moyak rods. Or I keep saying Moyak. That's Richie Lockery's tournament series.
Yeah, Richie's on your mind, huh?
Yeah.
Richie.
I'm gonna go fish their first tournament, man, down at Lake of the Ozarks.
Are you?
Weeks. Yeah.
Oh man.
I think you should go.
Nope.
LOZ.
No.
$1,000.
We haven't even talked about it, but I don't know.
We'll talk. Off air. But so you know, going into the subject of next weekend, or actually it'll be this weekend because we're recording this early, so it'll be the week magic that this airs. Yeah, I always forget about that.
The magic of recording.
But we're heading down to Douglas Lake, Tennessee. Gonna be meeting up with some folks, getting some lines wet, sliming up some boats.
Be nice to get some bass in the boat. I haven't had a bass in there in a while.
I think it's gonna happen.
I think so too. Already got a plan of attack and everything.
Do you?
I do.
Or are you going off my plan that I told you about?
No, this is my own. You're lucky I have short-term memory. I don't remember what we talked about.
So what's your plan? I want to know your plan.
Well, what's yours first?
I asked you first.
That doesn't matter.
So
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie up two mediums. I'm gonna have a medium moderate and a medium fast, and I'm gonna be running probably my Spro flat-sided cranks, some square bill types. I'll probably run those on the moderate, and then on the fast, I'm gonna throw some rattle traps. Go that route, and then I'm definitely gonna bring the Ned rig and be versatile with the with drop shotting if I have to. And then I thought I'd probably do like a medium heavy with the some of the swing jigs.
Yeah. I'm kind of in the same boat. Definitely rattle trap crankbait. I might try Nico rigging versus drop shotting. That's a new technique I wanted to pick up this year. Been doing a lot of looking into that. But I mean, drop shots, always a nice producer. Especially in that lake, there's some pretty nice ledges where that drop shot could come in a key. Definitely a jig, pitching a jig with little crayfish trailer action. So
yeah, I might even throw a chatterbait too.
So what's your plan as far as the lake goes? Have you looked into that? No, that's what I was talking about.
That was the plan for the lake.
No, I'm talking about like spots. Did you look at
no, I haven't. I guess like first off, I mean, with just being blind right now, I'd probably definitely look for points. And I'd look for the ledges. I think the easiest things to do. I know you said a little bit about it, about where we're at. It's a pretty, you pretty much got like the best of all worlds right there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just gonna throw like standard springtime stuff and
sure
try to first you're gonna have to find out what points they're on. Are they on the primaries, the secondaries?
Yeah.
Find out how shallow these things are actually getting, because for us, even though it's only like 6 hours away or whatever, it's like a whole different world of fishing.
Sure.
I mean, especially right now.
It's
our water is hard.
I know it's been like between like mid 50s and almost 70 down there.
Yeah.
It's been like kind of inconsistent, but that'll just be the key factor. So, maybe, so we're talking about this. If you guys haven't seen or heard, I know I've put a couple blurbs at the end of a couple of the recent podcasts that went out. But, Jay and I are heading down to Douglas Lake. It's in Seaverville, Tennessee. We're going to be camped out at Douglas Headwaters Campground, which is down by the dam, to meet up with, some listeners. So if you guys are down that way or you're not too far away, come down, hang out, fish with us. We got a few people already shooting us messages that are going to be down there. If you are planning on coming, let us know. Saturday is going to be the main day for fishing. We want to spend a full day on the water, and then we were going to go back to the campground after being on the water and do a little barbecue, hang out, talk fish stories, maybe record a podcast with whoever fishes with us and all that good stuff. So, it'll be a good time. And I know after we had like kind of announced this, there was some other guys that were like, when are you coming here? When are you coming over here? So, we're not trying to leave anybody out. Jay and I have been kind of talking behind the scenes. We want to definitely try doing a few of these in a few different areas. Obviously work schedules, families, time constraints, things like that play a factor. So, but we'll have more for sure. So, yeah, it'll be cool. But yeah, I know that lake's kind of unique. It's part of the French Broad River. I I know there's been some pretty big bass tournaments on that lake in the past, like BASS and all that stuff, FLW. There's good fish. I saw some pictures week ago, 2 weeks ago. Some guys were down there fishing out of glitter rockets and put together a nice, 22-pound bag, I think. 5 fish. So
Yeah, it's all right.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a couple fish,
Eh.
But I'm just excited we're going to see our man Todd Phillips. Good old Toddy boy. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time, man. It's gonna be cool. Yeah, we're just gonna be chilling. Really,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
out there, have a good time.
Just hang out, fish,
Yeah.
spend some time on the water. I know my man from Southern Lake Co. is coming down too, so he'll be chatting it up with us as well. So should be a good time, man. Good weekend. It'll be nice to get out of the frozen tundra, and get on some open water.
Oh, winter.
Yeah.
God.
Well, dude, I've been sneaking down to the river, fishing, and the other day it was just dumb. It was like 13 degrees, wind was blowing 15 miles. Like, I didn't last very long.
Dude, they were saying that like 90% of Superior is frozen right now.
Oh, I believe it.
90%. That's a big lake.
Yeah. Well, Lake Superior is the deepest lake. And with that being said, I know the average water temperature of Lake Superior is 43 degrees year round. And I got friends that live up there in the UP. And like I used to go up there like every other weekend. Beautiful country, awesome kayak country. But I remember going up there in the winter, and like legit 15-foot waves just crashing the breaker walls every day. Because you get the north winds out of Canada coming across the long ways of the lake, and just crashing. There was actually, I remember the one time I was up there, and this is totally off subject. There was some dudes out there surfing in the middle of winter. And they were actually shooting a documentary on winter surfing Lake Superior because their waves are so strong. And that's because the lake is so deep, which is nuts. It's gnarly.
Oh, dry suits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to be in a dry suit.
Yeah, that's nuts, dude.
Yeah.
Cold water.
What are you going to do, nutty people? Well,
yeah, life up north, it's wonderful.
Yeah. I won't lie. I've been out in my kayak already a couple times this year, which is dumb too. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, but you got a dry suit.
Yeah, I do. But
You're
still,
good.
Yeah. Well, it's not good when you can't feel your fingertips.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
Like by the time it really makes a difference, we're gonna have like bionic hands and stuff. So I don't even worry about that. You just be able to stick your hand right in the water. It won't matter.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully. And then also we got a seminar coming up. Jay and I are doing an intro to kayak fishing seminar down at Rocktown Adventures. So if you're in Illinois, Indiana, Wisconsin, whatever, want to come over, it's the 30th, right?
Yeah, 30th at 4 p.m.
Yeah. So we're going to be giving a seminar, doing a little Q&A, got some giveaways for those that attend. Oh,
Still giveaways and keeping it all.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have Rocktown's going to provide some pizza, some beers. Come down. Yeah. Especially if you got some friends that are interested in kayak fishing. Don't know really where to start or something like that. It's going to be a good thing. I know we already got a few people signed up, so it's still like a month away, but a couple weeks at least. So should be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be fun, man. We'll have a nice little Q&A too, and
yeah,
even as we go through it, it's it'll be like school.
Yeah,
just like this.
Yeah,
be like, oh, hey, the guy with the gray hat. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Yeah, I know. there's going to be a lot that spins off of it. I don't want to say too much right now, but yeah, there will be some opportunities for some trips and stuff in the future through Rocktown. So, yeah. So,
that's right. Get your butts out there. It'll be fun. It's free.
Yeah, it's a free event.
Just come hang out.
Come hang out. We're going to talk boats, gear, rigging up boats. I'm going to have my boat there all rigged out. Are you going to bring your boat up?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you would.
I'm going to pretend like yours is mine.
Wait, what?
I said pretend. No, we're just going to set up like one of the FDs that's there. We'll just go ahead and do that.
Lame.
That's right. Just, hey, could you bring more rods so I can pretend like those are mine?
I might have you covered.
I'm sure that you're going to have your kayak will be all prettied up. It'll pretty much, show everything.
It usually does. Which I recently rigged up my new depth finder on my boat. So I know I did like a short little YouTube video. I didn't go into as much detail as I think I could have or should have, but it gives you the basic concept. But I did pick up the Garmin Echomap Plus 93 SV. If that's not a long name, I don't know what is. But yeah, I rigged it in my bonafide pod. Used had to drill some holes, run some caps with seals on it, things like that. But I'm really looking forward to putting that to the use down there on Douglas. The big thing I've been talking about is getting side imaging, and that definitely has it. So it'll be nice. Especially this year on my home lake. They got a bunch of brush piles out on the ice. I haven't told you that. So there's some new structure going in the lake.
Oh, cool.
Once it thaws out, and it's kind of scattered all over.
Nice.
I think this is the furthest scattered I've ever seen it. Like, they've had piles in the past, but it's not only in the depths, but it's in the shallows as well. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So I might go out and walk around with the Navionics app in, and
just start putting waypoints.
Bink, yep.
Bink,
yep.
Bink.
So yeah, it's super cool, man. I'm stoked about that new unit, and should be good, man. I'll do kind of like a review after I've used it a little bit. So yeah, it'll be good.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm sure your imaging is going to be really nice. Get some of that newer technology in there.
Yeah, and that was the thing when I looked. So there was a lot of new model depth finders coming out, and I think this is actually technically last year's model. So I got it for really, really cheap compared to what it's normally at. I think that unit's normally a little over $1,000, and I got it for $6.
Wow!
Thank you to the boys at the poker game that evening.
Yeah.
You know who you are.
That's awesome.
I know he listens. So.
Yeah, Brian is going to be very happy, I'm sure.
Yeah. So the boys at the poker game were very generous to me. But yeah, man, I'm super stoked about it. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
It'll be fun. Can't wait to hit the water and get all the dust off.
Yeah, buddy. So when's your first tournament? You're fishing Great Lakes Kayak Fishing Series, correct?
Yeah.
You're fishing Banner?
Yeah, Banner is the first one. It's funny, you're remembering all this, and not me. It's in April.
My head hurts because I've been like looking at tournament schedules. It's April 13th.
Yeah.
Because the following day is the first KBL tournament, the 14th. So.
Yeah, Banner's sweet. I like it down there. It's an awesome area to fish. Just with all there's a bunch of lakes and waterlands all around the area. It's really cool.
Yeah. Super sweet. Yeah. I've never fished Banner. I know I've heard about it quite a bit from you and some other folks.
Yeah. They caught my personal best out there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I caught a 22 and a quarter, right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's 22. Yeah, that's it. Well, it's a bass. you and it's an Illinois bass. It's not like one of those ones down in Florida where,
Right.
like Gene's catching like 28
Uh,
inch
Jody
bass.
Queen.
Oh my God.
Jody
Oh,
Jody
I don't even
Queen
know
is
if
a
those are
legend.
real. They look like they're fake when they're on the bump board.
Dude, I think it was the month of February, the KBF monthly challenge. That dude had 117 inches.
It's not even nice.
Dude, that's just redonkulous, dude.
Yeah.
Like redonkulous.
I would have been like, okay, next month.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I surrender. I
Yeah.
surrender. Take my
Just
money.
swing for the fences the rest of the time. It's like, well, I'm throwing 6 and 8 inch baits. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I know I've read and I've heard an interview with him, and his biggest thing is his success just comes from spending a lot of time on the water.
Yep.
That's the only
That's
thing he says.
yeah.
So yeah, that dude's a legend. Jody Queen, you're my hero. I'm gonna say that now. But yeah, it'll be interesting, man. Yeah, so you got Banner, and I'm at Lake St. Chris. Well, actually, my first tournament was more than likely going to be Lake of the Ozarks down with Moyak, and then come back and fish Lake St. Chris, which is a power plant cooling lake here in Illinois with the KBL boys. So, yeah.
Should be fun.
Any preseason rituals before you get your tournament season started?
Um,
7 Hail
try
Marys.
It's called procrastination, procrastination, procrastination. Oh my God, it's tomorrow.
Yeah, I gotta pack all my stuff.
Yeah.
I know I was down here the other night and I started getting some stuff organized. So, just because I know we're hitting the road here next week, but yeah, I'm think I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
Yeah.
So
This weekend I'll be probably getting into more of the stuff, getting everything ready because I got to make sure the Liska is ready to go and
Liska.
the Liska. That's right. I'm leaving the big rig at home.
I was surprised when you told me that.
Well, everybody's gonna be paddling. I didn't want to be pedaling around.
Sure.
It's kind of be, and then like I've been in the big rig, so I mean, I know it's gonna be good. I
Right.
mean, I already
Right.
know. And plus, I got to take all that time to set it up. It's gonna be a whole nother world. So
Sure.
I'm not trying to rush that at all.
Yeah. Well, especially when
minute.
especially when it's been 20 degrees out, or 13
Yeah.
or negative
Yeah.
5 or whatever. So I don't blame you.
No, yeah, no heated garage in my place,
Yeah.
so everything's cold.
Me neither. So I'm right there with you. So yeah, man.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm stoked, man. So you got anything else, man? I think we pretty much covered everything we wanted to cover tonight.
Pretty sure, man. We could just wrap it up.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. I know we've been getting some emails from some listeners. I know one gentleman in particular asked about stickers and T-shirts. So the sticker level is kind of low, so we got to place an order. I got that in the works. So as soon as we get some stickers back in house, I know I got a list of people I got to send some out to. So we'll get those out. But he also asked about T-shirts. We'd still have the T-shirt shop open on our website, paddle, letter N, in fin.com. If you guys want to buy a T-shirt, a hoodie, I'm working on some hats, man. I know I haven't told you about that, but I've been looking into some hats. So
we need to talk.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. Hats is the last thing on my mind because I got 50 of them. You know me. Every time you see me, I'm wearing a different hat. So, but yeah, I'm working on that. But if you guys are interested in a T-shirt or a hoodie, check those out. T-shirts are super comfortable. Same thing with the hoodie. I've been wearing my hoodie as a jacket, so it's got remnants of sawdust and floor stain and stuff on it. So now I got to order another one. So,
probably some ketchup and mustard on there too.
Oh yeah, you know how I love my cheeseburgers. So yeah, I'll probably have to order another one. But yeah, if you guys want to pick up some swag, feel free to do so at paddle_n_fin.com. If you guys got a question, comment, something like that, feel free to email us like Jeff did at paddle_n_fin@gmail.com. Also on the Anchor podcast app, you can leave us a voicemail. We could play it on the episode, answer your question, play your comment, whatever. So that's always a cool little avenue as well. And yeah, if you guys are going to make it to the Tennessee meetup, let us know. And love to see you guys down there. So yeah, brother, another good chat as usual.
Yes. Definitely.
On that note, until next time, guys, tight lines and smooth paddling.